What's up, people? I am back. So, was gonna review Underworld today. I just couldn't get to it because I went to see the Black Phone again today, and I just was out all day. I just didn't have time. So, what I'm gonna do is for sure next Sunday I will be reviewing the first Underworld. But today I had to get this out. Today I'm reviewing the Black Phone. This is a new movie that came out a few days ago, and I went to go see it Thursday. And this was one I didn't plan on seeing. I didn't even know what was happening, but I remember just a few weeks ago I saw a trailer for it and just being like, okay, I'm definitely going to see this. And just, I'm actually happy I did. Ethan Hawke played it so good. So the movie, basically, the premise is it's a story of a child killer who, throughout the film, you kind of notice takes kids, and he takes one kid, and basically, the title says, a black phone rings, where he's held captive, and it's basically the other kids he has killed trying to help him escape. It was like that's pretty much the premise, and I think why I like this movie so much is and this is probably the biggest reason. I mean, and it kind of coincides with the video I did a week ago called talking about the sympathetic villain thing. He was not sympathetic at all. Not once do they go into his backstory. None of that. We don't know why he kills kids or abducts them. They just keep it like he just does it. I think another thing I like, and I made this more of something I noticed the second viewing today, the world feels lived in, and I really like that because that's like a problem with sometimes with some new IPs where they don't make the world feel lived in. It feels lived in this movie. Like it feels like there's already so much going on. Like when the movie starts, like you already have the grabber had already been doing his stuff for a while. Like it feels lived in. Finney's mom, did suicide, so like there was already so much going on. I think the cinematography is really good, and I think for me another common thing, y'all, you're gonna know with a lot of my positive reviews, simplicity. And I think they did that in spades in this one. It's just a simple story. There wasn't a million like side plots. The only side plot was Gwen, having these kind of like sidekick memories, basically, which I think they really did a good job with, making it look like a dream scene. And just in general, I really love the grainy like camera they decided to use. And I'm happy they did it throughout the whole movie. Like, it looked good. Like, they made it really look like it was 1978. Like, it felt immersive. It didn't just feel like it just happened to be set in the 70s, but still feels modern. They actually made it feel 70s. I thought the actor who played Finney, did a pretty good job. Same with the Gwen, that was the sister. I think the only real negative I have, it is not the dad, but I'm just so tired of the bad dad trope. And I'll admit, they back off of it, like, once Finney gets kidnapped. But that first bit, I rolled my eyes a bit, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not blaming this on the movie, but I've seen it so many times, the bad, drunk dad. I mean, but at least I guess you could say I'm not excusing it necessarily, but you can, as I was talking about this with somebody the other day, that, and I think they made a really good point that the dad, almost like you feel bad for him because you don't understand a little bit why he is the way he is. He's a widowed dad. But I'm so tired of it. If this wasn't like the millionth time I've seen it, I probably wouldn't have a problem. But it's just such an overdone trope. But they do back off of it once he gets kidnapped, and they just kind of have him be a dad. But I just wish they just did that from the jump. That's my only thing. And I feel like the ending, the final act was a bit rushed. It felt like that final act could have used at least maybe another 10, 15 minutes. It felt a little like, I noticed that the first time, but definitely today watching it, I really noticed it. It was just like, okay, I think it just needed like 10, 15 more minutes. But other than that, I think overall, great cinematography. The score was decent. It wasn't like amazing or anything, but it's a fun, solid horror movie. Don't go in expecting a horror, like a gore fest. It's not like there's only like one on-screen kill, and that's when he kills his brother. Which I almost feel like his brother was only there just for that scene. But I do like that the only thing we know about the grabber, we don't even know his real name, is that he has a brother. That's it. So I really like that. It's like I'm so especially considering my rant last week. It's nice to have an actual villain, just not have a backstory. He's just evil. He just does what he does. So yeah, Ethan, I would have liked a bit more Ethan Hawke in this movie, but I think the amount the amount works. So I definitely recommend this movie if you want a good newer horror. There's definitely like supernatural elements with like the kids, but aside from that, just watch it just for if you want a good like escape kind of story. So you know, um, yeah, I would probably give this one like a 9 out of 10. I'd heavily recommend it. It actually has like a summer movie kind of feel. Because I remember watching before it came out, I was thinking maybe this should have came out like October, September, but it actually does have a summer feel to it almost, and it works. So, gonna now get into spoilers. So be warned. There's no major spoilers. I mean, the kid's gonna escape. Like that's not a spoiler. So, but other than that, we're gonna get into it tomorrow. Probably after this stream, I am gonna be ready. We're gonna watch National Treasure. We're gonna get ready to start the National Treasure franchise. Well, it's 2 of them, but yeah, we're gonna do the first one tomorrow. I can't wait. I fucking love those movies. This is actually still when Disney wasn't fucking a bunch of rumors, and yeah, so I'll be talking about that tomorrow. So probably this time tomorrow, we'll see. But anyway, we'll get started. Movie opens up. You see Fitty playing a baseball game. Sorry, I just say a basketball game. Baseball game. And he nearly wins it, but Bruce Amata, who's one of the the future grabber victims, beats him. They kind of congratulate each other. Then we kind of see Bruce kind of, like saying hello to people, and then I'm not gonna lie, the cut to the opening was so smooth. Like you see him riding his bike, and then after looking up, because I think you see Fitty play with a rocket, and then he turns around. And then when the van comes into, I'm not gonna lie, that first bit is so cool because when you just see the van throughout the film, you don't know what's going on. Like I like the lore kind of built up. They do mention like they have throughout the film. You see like missing kid posters, but they don't like They even make it seem like the grabber is almost like like a Bloody Mary kind of thing. So like I really love the like build up to it. Like they don't know if it's an actual guy. Well, at least it's not public. But yeah, so Bruce gets kidnapped. You don't see it, but which I'm fine. I've seen a couple of complaints. Like I would have liked to have seen one kill on screen. Here's the thing. I mean, I would have been fine with it, but you gotta understand, they're not gonna show kids getting killed. They're just not on screen. At least not the way they make it sound like he does. But I don't know. I think it works for specifically this movie. It works because it almost makes it like once again, leave it to your imagination kind of deal. So I'm fine with it here. But I can understand maybe like one you could have shown, or even just like you do get kind of the aftermath in one scene. But yeah. So Bruce gets kidnapped. We get a cool kind of title sequence where it gives you basically almost like a short rundown of what's been going on. And that's what I mean, like when I was saying the world feels lived in. Like, I don't know what happened in movies where when like a movie actually the world felt lived in. Like, it felt like, okay, shit's going on. It doesn't just feel like, oh, it's all artificial. So we see Finn and his sister talk. You get a little bit of background. He notices the missing Bruce sign, so he recognizes the kid. And then we see a fight between Robin, who's one of Finney's friends, who you will become friends with later, beat up on a bully. And, yeah. I think they got that. Like they got the feel of the '70s right, like perfectly. Like the kids just being in the street playing. Like that's what it was. Granted, obviously I wasn't born, but just looking back, '70s movies or even just excuse me, even looking up like the information. Um, it really I really think they caught the '70s feel with it, but not just with the grainy camera. So Finney gets to school. You could tell he has a crush on this girl, and then he's kind of bullied throughout the school. But then he becomes friends with Robin. Robin scares off Finney's bullies, and then the thing about this movie I do like the pacing is pretty good. Like it kind of just goes. So Gwen gets called into the office. The police question her because she knew about like the black balloons that were at the crime scene of one of the missing kids, or I think two of them actually, and the police don't believe her, and she kind of like mouths off to him, which I'm not gonna lie, the theater kind of laughed at. I actually think the moments of humor in this movie were done right. The character Max, so I guess I'll just go a bit ahead. I'm not gonna lie. When I first watched it, I was like, he feels kind of out of place. But then then I thought, especially after the second viewing, it's fine. Like he's only in one scene, really. Like they don't overdo it with him, like with his humor. And I also look at it like you gotta have moments of levity because, especially with this story, I mean, it's a story about a child killer, and a kid being kidnapped. So it's like, I understand that you gotta have your moments of humor, and it was done in a way where it wasn't like fringy. So yeah, I thought the sister was kind of funny with some of her lines when she was mouthing off to the cops. So I think after this, Finney comes home, takes care of his dad while his sister's out. He watches like a late night horror movie, and then the next day, Robin gets kidnapped. And I like that they don't show it. I do like when you just see the black van on screen, something's gonna happen. Like you just see Robin walking, and then when you just see the van there. You see the grabber get out, and I like how you don't fully see what he looks like. You just see a guy get out of the car, and then it cuts. Oh yeah, there is a scene before that where his dad is disciplining his daughter, his sister, because I guess the cops showed up, and this was the part where I was like, okay, I'm not saying abusive dads don't exist. It's just the bad dad trope, man. If it wasn't like the millionth time I've seen it, I wouldn't have a problem. And I'm not saying this movie's doing it because they want to make a point to say fuck dads. No, I think the movie did it for genuine reasons. It's just I'm so done with it at this point, and I understand someone can make the argument, oh, bad dads exist. I get it, but when it's just done so many fucking times, I just kind of bored of it. But like I said, this is the only scene where I roll my eyes with the dad character. But aside from that, they tone it down once Finney gets kidnapped. So back to the other scene. So yeah, Robin gets kidnapped, and then I guess they kind of mention because you see cops on scene, so I guess they found his body, but they don't show it. But so Finney learns about his friend dying, basically, and then the next day, the police talk to Gwen again, and then the bullies that Finney was dealing with earlier that Robin scared off beat him up, and then his sister, I'm not gonna lie, she came in clutch and fucking hit one of them with a fucking rock. Like, it was a big ass rock. I was like, god damn. But then, yeah, she got beat down too. They got that rowdy kid aspect right. So then, yeah, his crush becomes his science partner. Then he goes home, and then I think pretty much this is where he gets kidnapped. Yeah. So yeah, and this is about, I didn't calculate it, but this is probably like 30-ish minutes in now, where yeah, he gets kidnapped, and And I love the little effect, like when you see Finney, like, because I guess they some kind of chloroform he got sprayed in his mouth, and you're seeing him like fade into his trip, which I thought was a nice little effect. And then yeah, he wakes up in the house, into this basement where he's left in by the grabber. And I will agree, I do think we could have got a couple of more scenes with him, but the scenes we did get though were fucking creepy. Because, like, the first time you see him, he's like, I'm going to snap your fucking neck. He's in this mask. And I like the voice effect they give him. So, then her dad calls lets Gwen know that he's missing. She runs home. And then I like how, like, when they cut back to Finney, like, this is where we kind of get like the phone starts to ring, but then initially no one picks up, and then the grabber informs him that it doesn't work, and yeah, he plays it so creepy. I'm not gonna lie, man. And I guess I'll jump ahead in one scene where Finney wakes up and it's the grabber watching him, and the line from him, there's a couple. These two lines specifically kind of got me a little bit when he was like, I just wanted to look at you. That's basically all he said. I just wanted to look at you. When he said that, because like, I think Finney asked like, why are you watching me? And I just wanted to look at you. It was like, bruh, I'm not gonna lie, that fucking creeped me out. It's like, that is how you do it. Yeah, and like I mentioned, no backstory, nothing. We don't know shit besides he has a brother, which I guess they kind of drop a little later. But like, that's it. And I like that. I really like that. It's nice to just have a villain who's a villain, you know? Because like I mentioned in my villains video, there's just evil people out there, guys. That's just the truth of the matter. Not everybody is made into evil. I think too many movies have... This is why the whole sympathetic villain thing can just fuck shit up, because it's like, there are just evil people out there. That's just the truth. You know, I don't want to... You know, it's a sad truth, but it is the truth. Not everyone who's evil is made into it. There are just some people that are like, that's all. It works. I love that for this movie. But anyway. So, the grabber, like, throughout the film. So, yeah, we get our first call. And it's Bruce. He says the line that he said earlier. And basically informs him that there's a thing, he can dig under the cupboard. Like, basically tells him, like, where he can dig a hole to escape, but it doesn't work initially. And yeah, so I really love this whole... It's an interesting premise. Like, basically, former victims calling the current one to help him escape is such an interesting premise. You know, and yeah, and I like the fact that he does kind of fail a couple times. Like, he tries to escape several times. And I'm going to be honest, it wasn't until, like, the last one where, yeah, he fails. And I think that's what makes it work more. Like, once again, I'm jumping ahead, but when he tries to escape one last time, he just breaks down. It's such a perfect scene, because it's like that realization, dude, I might not get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, I think that's what makes it work. So I think the kid who played Finney did a pretty good job. So I'm going to mainly in this review focus on Finney. Like, yeah, there's another storyline where Gwen, you know, is with her dreams. She's trying to, like, search for the house she's seeing throughout her dreams, which I think it's a nice... Because even after the call with Amada, you kind of see a little bit of, like, I guess his backstory. You see a little bit like him as a kid growing up, and then you see him get kidnapped, and then she wakes up. So I do like that. I think it's a nice fade to the next scene, you know, with her. So, but her storyline, I don't think gets in the way where it feels like, okay, can I just get back to Finney? Like, I actually think it works, because it actually adds. There's even one scene where she talks to her dad about... I actually think that's, like, probably the best scene easily with the dad. Because he actually was being a dad in that scene. Like, I was just like, why couldn't we just have more of that? I'm not saying you have to make him a perfect dad, but it's just, you know, anyway. But yeah, dude, Ethan Hawke plays it so creepy, man. Like, there's the one scene where he brings him food, and he's just like, I don't have to let you go. I don't have to drug you, bro. You're already here. And he mentions how it's soundproof, and all this shit. So yeah, he gets the second call, which is from a Paperboy, which is named Billy. And this scene was really good. I'm gonna take a hit before. I think this scene is really good because he's making the call. You see Billy. I'm assuming that is like the aftermath of what he looked like after he was killed. He basically looked like a dead body. I thought they did a really good job with that effect. I remember that, like, whoa, they actually did that. So, and then you kind of get the same thing where she's dreaming again. And then you see, but I think it works because it's a way to show you how they got kidnapped. You know, and I'm fine with them, once again, not showing how they necessarily died. I don't think they had to do that. Sorry. I'm kind of cool with how they left it up to interpretation. So Billy, the Paperboy, tells him that there's a rope that he hid, and basically tells him to use it to help him get out. And he tries to use it, but fails. And like, I really like that. You know, the face. I think Finney did a really good job. Like, there's a couple of times where I'm like, this is believable. You know, and I think this movie really did kind of hinge on the kid actor a bit. I think if the actor who played Finney didn't do good, this movie wouldn't have been good. Like, I think, yeah, Ethan Hawke would have been the only good thing. So I think they did a good job of getting a good kid actor because, yeah, it does kind of hinge on him. Because he's the one we're supposed to be feeling bad for. Like, that scene where he realizes, dude, I might not get out of here. Like, it's such a... It does... You know, you can put yourself in that position, you know? Like, holy shit, I may not get out of here. So he tries to convince the grabber to let him go. Okay, before that. The grabber leaves the gate open. But this is where Billy tells him... so we're back at that scene. Billy tells him that don't go up there because that's just a game he plays. Basically, that the grabber is just waiting there to basically fuck him up. So yeah, later, Gwen has another dream and convinces her dad to drive with her to the location. Then, I think that later that night, Finney gets a call again from another victim who informs him that basically that another way out, that the grabber is sleeping, and that this is basically his opportunity to escape. She gives him a code to her lock, like a bike lock he uses to lock the door. So he gets out. He manages to make it out the door, but the dog wakes him up. We get a mini chase, and I'm not gonna lie, this chase scene, the cinematography was so good. You got Finney running, and then the fucking van comes into frame. It's so good. So yeah, he gets caught again. And even before that, this is where we get the grabber even initially was considering letting him. Granted, we don't know if it was he really believed him, but he says, yeah, he was going to consider letting him go. But Finney lies about his name, and I guess the grabber got a news report, like found a newspaper with his name in it. So, the grabber takes him back, and then he gets one more call from Vance Hopper. Well, I guess, no, there's two more calls. Gets a call from Vance Hopper. We get a little bit of like a backstory of how Vance Hopper got there. And I'm going to say, yeah, the soundtrack where they play some like actual 70s songs, I love it. Love it. So yeah, after beating up on a couple of dudes, he gets arrested. And then, this is another scene, because you see Gwen in it, so now it's a dream. And then, yeah, so Gwen actually finds the house, one of the houses, and I'll explain more of that later, where the grabber is. She wakes up, rushes to the police, and all that. And it, pretty much, we're close to the end. The police question Max, who's the grabber's brother, and I love the shot, the pan, where His brother's like doing coke, and then it cuts down, and you see him in the basement. So basically, it's where we get the reveal that the grabber is his brother. Um, so the grabber's out at the store for whatever reason, and then Max kind of realizes that because he's been trying to capture the grabber too. He's like doing his own investigation, and I think he realizes that the house that the house he's in might be the one. He ends up finding Finney, and this is where I feel like the ending was a bit rushed because pretty much from here it goes from Max finds him and tries to help him, and then gets killed by the grabber on screen. So this is the only like on screen kill. While the police arrive, and they end up finding an empty house, but it turns out that the house they found was the grabber's other house where he buries the bodies. So the house across the street where he's at is where he kind of keeps them captured, and then that other house, I guess, is like the murder house where he actually kills them and keeps their bodies. So the police find the bodies, while pretty much, yeah, then we get a chase. The grabber tries to kill Finney with an axe. Finney dodges. Finney leaves, pretty much sets the grabber up with his trap, that hole he dug earlier. Oh, before that, I guess I rushed a bit. He gets one more call from Robin, the kid earlier, his friend. I'm not gonna lie, that's probably my favorite call with the entire one. Like, because you could tell, like, even though they were only like, friends for a bit, it felt believable. Like, he was giving him, like, it was almost like a pep talk. Like, this is, because he tells him earlier, you got to stand up for yourself. And, like, this is the time, bro. Like, I think they really did a good job with that. I think, and then, yeah, pretty much, yeah, he breaks the grabber's ankle and then beats up the grabber with the telephone that Robin, I can't say Ruben again, Robin told him to do. And then, yeah, he basically breaks the grabber's neck. And the cool scene, though, when he was like, the phone was ringing and he answers and he puts the phone to the grabber, and the kids are like just shit talking him. I thought that was cool. But it just felt so rushed to me. It just, granted, that line, though, when the grabber says, I'm gonna fuck you up and kill you slow, I'm not gonna lie, that was good. He has some really good creepy moments, but I would have liked more, and I do think that final act could have been dragged out a bit. At least maybe 15 minutes. 10, 15. It just felt kind of abrupt to me. Oh, he kills him. Yeah, definitively, because you hear his neck snap. And then, the police find that he gets out, Finney gets out, reunites with his sister and dad. Next day goes to school, sits next to his crush, and then the film ends. Really good movie. I think, like I said, the ending could have went a bit longer, but overall, really good movie. Don't expect a gore fest, but it's a fun one. Like, if you like a supernatural element, even just like the serial killer element, which is more what I actually watched it for. I actually really like that element. And the 70s setting, I thought the atmosphere was pretty good. The grainy footage made it, especially the scenes when Finney's in the basement, it looked even that much more creepy with like the grainy camera. So overall, probably definitely one of my favorite movies. It might be my favorite horror this year. We'll see. So far, I mean, we got X, and we also still have Halloween Ends still. So, but for right now, definitely this one's my favorite right now. I really enjoyed Ethan Hawke in this. I would have liked a bit more of him, but aside from that, I genuinely enjoyed this movie. This is what I want. Because as a horror guy, it is nice to have a non-IP based movie out. So I hope. There's no way they can do a sequel. I mean, the grabber's fucking dead. This isn't like Halloween. Like he got his neck snapped. I mean, I'm fine with this being a one-off story. I'm really happy that we have a solid horror villain that isn't sympathetic. So I definitely would recommend this movie if you wanted just a good horror movie. Other than that, 9 out of 10. Tomorrow I'm gonna be reviewing National Treasure. I can't wait to watch that. I fucking love that movie. That first National Treasure is so good. Not just like Nicolas Cage, the whole cast in general is really good. And I remember really loving those movies, but because I was really into the Mummy movies, and it almost like it reminded me of that, even though there was no mummies. It was that like adventure, searching in like a tomb-like thing. So yeah, we're gonna be definitely watching that later, probably after this stream, and then video, fucking stupid. After this video, and then tomorrow I'll be reviewing it. So, but other than that, I'm gonna take one more hit and peace out. Hold on, let me push this fake away for a second. Yeah, I definitely recommend The Black Phone if you want a good new horror movie. So, other than that, as usual, fuck Warner Brothers, fuck Disney, and fuck the Biden administration. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace!